top of the world, now I'm living. And the good just gets better, keeps on giving. Not even close to the end, it's just beginning. Life is getting lighter while the days are getting brighter, yeah.
Hey there, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm back with Susan Saucier. Hey Susan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I cannot believe that we are actually going to be doing the December 2021 forecast.
I don't know where this year has gone.
I don't know where I don't know where this year has gone or even November. It just seems to blow by. It's crazy. But we're going to be talking about what's coming up in December of 2021. And as we're moving into January, I mean, January is soon upon us. I can't even believe that that's coming up so fast, but it is. Lots of different energy coming up next year. Holy cow. So stay tuned for all of that good stuff. For those of you who don't know Susan, Susan is a psychic medium. She is a spiritual life coach. She does all kinds of great videos on YouTube. You got to check her out. She's got fantastic meditation videos there. She's got courses and classes, and she's doing readings, and she's a very busy gal. And so I have invited her to share space with me as we deliver my side of the observation of what's coming up for December of 2021, the numerological side. And Susan will be looking at the astrological side as well, and maybe tapping into some spirit guidances that can support that message as well. So 2021 has been a 5 universal year. We know that because 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1 equals 5, right? And when we look at that number, the 5, we're going to add it to the actual month itself. So December is the 12th month. So 1 and 2 equals 3. So we'll add the universal 5 to the universal 3, and it comes to an 8. So this coming month, December of 2021, is going to be an 8 universal month. So this is going to be quite a different energy than what last month was. November was actually a 7 universal month, which caused us all to want to kind of retreat, caused us all to want to kind of step back and reconsider things and be a little bit more reflective, introspective maybe. So we just kind of wanted to go down under, right? But as we start shifting, and you'll be feeling it very, very shortly, as you start shifting into this energy of the 8, your energy starts to come back, right? And it's kind of like, yeah, it's time for me to come out of my cave now. So it's a power number. So we've got to be a little bit careful with how we use this because we can abuse it if we use it incorrectly. So it's power is a wonderful thing if it's used in moderation and if it's used within the best interest of yourself and everybody else concerned. So the 8 can ask you to finally set some healthy boundaries, right? Have people been kind of treating you like a doormat? It gives you a chance to kind of step back from that and go, well, you know what? No, I'm not going to be treated like a doormat anymore. So gently, we're going to go and talk to people and suggest that maybe we can come to terms in a different way. It's going to help you with the boundaries. It's going to be helping you to examine what your self-worth is. Are you getting your worth? You know, are you telling people what you're worth, and are you getting paid your worth? You only get paid ever what you believe you're worth. I will live by that. I totally believe that. So, so it's questioning, you know, how have you been teaching people how to treat you? So this is going to be a little challenging given that we're coming into the holiday season, right? Chances are you're going to be spending some time with family and such. You are right on the, you know, the precipice of moving into 2022, which is going to be all about family. You know, remember 2022, we're going to have 3 twos in there. That's about partnership and patience and diplomacy and playing nice in the sandbox with everybody. Seeing people for who they really are rather than who we wish they would be, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then when we add the 3 twos together, it comes to the 6, which is about the family. So we want to be sure that, you know, over the holiday season, when we are feeling a little bit more energized, when we are feeling like manifesting a bit more and stepping into maybe a role of management, that we don't assert too much power and authority over people, because that can backfire. So, you know, it's going to be a focus on our money as well, looking at how much we have, how much we don't have. Are we blowing up our credit cards over the holiday season? Being careful with that. But remembering that, you know, a lot of people will, when they're under this influence of the 8, they have a tendency to kind of hold the money a little close. But, you know, the more you give, the more it comes back to you. Okay, so I would encourage you to really examine that, and rather than being too afraid to give, maybe, you know, even if you can give just a little bit, rather than holding it close. I think that'll play out really positively for you. And so how is this going to roll out in the 5 universal year? So we remember that the 5 universal year is about unexpected events. Didn't see that coming. Change. Needing to be a little bit more flexible and adaptable. And now we've got that 8 universal month coming in. So that tells us that there might be some issues relating to unexpected expenses, possibly. So be a little careful with that, making sure you got maybe a little nest egg set aside if it's possible. To have something to take care of these unexpected events. It's also a time when you want to be careful about any kind of investments that you're making, okay? Because the market could crash really quickly. And Susan, you'll probably be able to illuminate that maybe a little bit more because I know you had all kinds of good stuff coming up astrologically. You might come into an unexpected windfall. So this wouldn't be a bad month to buy some lottery tickets, right? If you're into the lottery kind of deal. And you may have an unanticipated opportunity to earn some money that you weren't expecting, right? So keep an eye out for that. So the 8 is a very, very big vibration, guys. It's a vibration that I'm very familiar with because my personality is an 8, okay? So when we're calculating the consonants in your birth name, that produces the personality, and mine is an 8. So I know it's big. I know that I can be in people's faces at times. I get excited, and I have to learn how to kind of tone down that bravado sometimes if I'm in the company of more sensitive people. So it's kind of like that for everybody coming into to December with this 8 energy. So we want to respect the fact that not everybody handles this energy very well. Some people will take advantage of it. Some people will be offended by it. Some people will be intimidated by it. The 8 is one of the most complicated numbers there is from 1 to 9 as far as I'm concerned. So we want to be respectful of that. You want to be a little bit more proactive rather than reactive in this particular month. You want to maybe try to come from a half full cup mentality rather than the half empty cup because the 8 is all about manifestation. So recognize that whatever it is you want to draw closer to you is what you want to focus on. Remember, the 8 is the double the 4, right? So the 4 is about focus and intention. So intentional focus. So if you are attracting things that you don't quite like, ask yourself, how much time have you been focusing on that? Because you're bringing it closer. So focus on what you want to attract rather than what you don't want. And the last thing I guess I want to suggest is that pay attention to the triggers this month. There's people who will trigger you in a negative way. That you might feel offended by. This is an opportunity to step into your power to say, hey, you know what, right now, I'm choosing to respect myself enough not to listen to you anymore. Or, I'm choosing to respect myself by leaving this job or this relationship or whatever. Just pay attention to what's triggering you because it is kind of a volatile energy. And, you can work with it and you can work against it. And it's entirely up to you how you choose to respond to it, right? So hopefully that helps a little bit. In making your way through what can be an absolutely fabulous month. If you happen to be an 8 personal, if you have your life path number as an 8 or you're in an 8 personal year, you're going to feel it a little bit more so as well. So what have you got to say about that, Susan?
Well, it's interesting how much the energy of numerology and astrology, really work together. So
they mirror each other, yeah.
It's just really is looking at everything that's coming up. So we're going into, we have a new moon on December 4th. That's in Sagittarius. Okay. So Sagittarius is a sign of, it's higher learning. It's, wisdom, knowledge, inspiration, taking action, speaking your truth. So thinking of how the 8, really is going to bring that up, and we have the holidays all coming. I, just want to, co-sign and saying of be careful of, you have to speak your truth. I mean, I feel like that's coming up for a reason. We've gone through so much over the last few years, having to learn what we're learning with our inner self and higher self and who we are. So speaking the truth is coming at the end of this year, kind of wrapping things up, going, okay, where are you now? And where do you want to be going as we go into the next year? So speaking your truth is important, but being that we're going to be in an 8 numerology month, it's important that you do, as Anne said, be gentle, but set those boundaries where needed, because you can continue to get stomped on going into this next year if you don't set things in place now. Okay, you have to put yourself first. And Sagittarius is a lot about the wisdom and knowledge. So think of the knowledge you've gained over the last year, who
Ooh,
you
I love
are,
that.
right, and who you've become because of all the lessons you've gone through. What are your beliefs going forward? And that might be something that's going to come up in this next month too of December, is some truths that come out that can change your beliefs. So looking at that, so yeah, and also considering the new moon is December 4th in Sagittarius, it also is the final eclipse of the year. So yes, we have another eclipse. So
Yay!
Right? Yay!
But nobody ever.
Well, what does that mean? Well,
still recovering.
Yeah, right. Eclipses make everything more powerful. They shake things up. They're kind of like a slap in the face, like, hello, we've been trying to get your attention. Are you listening? Are you ready to move forward? Are you ready to take all the baggage you have with you, or you want to leave some things behind, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we are at the end of this year with that. And I love that Sagittarius can be really fun. They definitely are more positive thinkers. So, we're going to tap into the glass is half full, and using that energy. I always feel like you don't have to be a Sagittarius to enjoy the new moon. We all have it somewhere in our chart, and we're all given the energy of it. So it's like, okay, if their energy is knowledge and wisdom and teaching and learning and growth, and speaking my truth, use that energy to bring it upon yourself and your relationships, because we are definitely, going to feel that in December with the holiday season.
That sounds like a primer for 2022.
Yeah. And
That's
I
what
feel
it
like
sounds
that's what it is, because we're preparing for where we're going, right? But we're also preparing for what we're leaving behind. So all the changes and things that we've gone through, the unexpected things that popped up this 2021, they're all coming into a, almost like we're gathering them in this little circle that we can look in and say, okay, what in this basket do I want to take with me going forward? And what do I want to just leave at the door, let someone else pick it up if they want it, but I'm done with it. Yeah. It's really owning who you are going forward. So we're being supported with that. And I feel like the eclipse is just an added, things that there's some of us that tend to put things on the shelf, not want to think about it, not want to deal with it. So the eclipse is going to throw it in your face like, hello, we're giving you one last chance this year. Do you want to take it or leave it? So that's going to be big. And then, of course, we have Venus will be going retrograde. So that's just going to push a lot of more about relationships. Retrogrades are all about reassess, reevaluate, rethink. I like to think of it like the lesson in college when you come in and you have a review of what you've learned. So over this last year or so, what have we learned with the relationships and how we can change them? And that means the relationship with yourself as well. So
that retrograde is going to be when?
That is December 19th. Venus will be going retrograde, and it's going to be there till March. So it's not like a little short time. It's like we're going to really revisit this for a little while.
December 19th. So that's interesting because, I'm actually, it hasn't come out yet, but I'm creating a newsletter that talks about a couple of things that I suggest people do before the turn of the year. And it's interesting that this is coming in alignment with the retrograde, because I've said, rather than lamenting about, 2021, rather than saying, oh my God, I cannot wait for this year to be gone so I can move into the next year, let's put this all behind us. How about we look at it and say, okay, what did I learn this year? What did I gain this year? So what did I do well? What did I achieve? What did I overcome?
Yeah, exactly.
Fill your bags with that, Yeah. As you were talking, I'm thinking, I like to travel light. So, biff a bunch of stuff out of that suitcase before I go into.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And, it's important to even recognize the yucky stuff, because I'm sure you've learned something from it, so it's like learn, be grateful for the lesson that you are able to learn from it. And, if you don't decide to learn from it, it's just going to keep coming around. So, but on December 18th, we'll go into the full moon, which is going to be in Gemini. So this is, Gemini can be very social, but it can also be a time where we're going to be going through some old wounds and whatever might come up that still needs healing. And again, it's like the wrap up of the end of the year. It's kind of how things are falling into place, you know, and feeling what needs to end, what needs to, you know, be done with, that kind of thing.
I love that.
If there's anything else? Yeah.
I do. I love that. I love to see what needs to end. And I, from experience, I have learned that if I don't choose to end the things that aren't working for me, the universe will find a way to do it. And it usually, you know, doesn't rip off like an easy bandage, you know? So
Great way to
I would
put it.
prefer to be the one tearing off that bandage than having someone else do it for me.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, in other words, don't hold back and let go of what you don't want, because, you know, as you said, ripping off the Band-Aid is kind of what the universe will do. So
Yeah.
I agree with that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to mention real quick, but I think that's pretty much, you know, it. Just think of the eclipse as a push to, you know, it's that extra push that we're getting to,
Yeah.
you know, make sure we really pay attention to what we've learned this past year and what we want to gain going forward and leave behind. Because Sagittarius, again, is all about learning and teaching and wisdom, knowledge. So putting those pieces together, you want to understand what goes forward with you.
It's so interesting for me because I'm actually going into a 7 personal year, which causes you to go inward and to think about what's my next move, what do I want to do, where do I want to go, what do I want to continue to do, and how do I want to change that up, things like that. So it's kind of interesting that that's all on the heels of me shifting into that. So I'll pay more attention to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that was good. Thanks.
And
Susan.
I do have some cards.
Oh, okay.
To share.
Yes.
That I had picked. So this one is actually called Manifest, and it says,
Of course it is.
of course it is, right? Because I
Sweet.
don't prepare anything before. I just flip them all over and choose.
Yeah.
And this one says, everything you have ever dreamed of, everything your heart desires, already lives within you. The only thing stopping it from coming to life is your own fear of what will happen. When we finally receive all that our hearts long for, so ask yourself, what can you align with just a little bit closer? What can you let go of just a little bit more? And what can you drop into just a little bit deeper? And trust that what is yours already belongs to you. You simply have to ask for it clearly, potentially, and wholeheartedly. After all, if you can hold it in your heart and see it in your mind, you will hold it in your hand.
Well, I love that. You know what I was hearing when you were saying that was the reminder that says we weren't born fearful.
No,
We were taught how to be fearful,
yeah,
you know, by our conditions or our environment or our parents or whatever. Those outside influences caused us to discover fear because when we're born, we're completely naive. We expect that everything's going to go perfectly. It always did in the womb. Why wouldn't it be outside of the womb?
right,
Right.
exactly.
Until we get exposed to negative thought patterns and such. And so we learn how to be fearful and we learn to believe that the universe isn't abundant. And that's crap.
It is. And over, you know, think about, because we are wrapping up 2020 as well, even though we've got 2021, the way all these planets have lined up are kind of just saying, okay, go back to 2020 and go to who you are now. And look at the transformation from all of us. However, fear was a big component in 2020.
Huge.
And yeah, and we all had the freedom of choice on if we were going to allow it to scare us into not, you know, being willing to step out of our comfort zone and change. And that just didn't only go with disease or illness. That went with every aspect of our life. So yeah, fear is the, you know, low vibration and love is the high. So when it comes down to it, you want to decide which one you want to choose going forward as we end this year.
Isn't that interesting when you think about 2020, of course, with COVID coming out and whatnot, we're all locked in our houses and, you know, fear was just such a dominant thing in our lives. And we got to choose how we responded to that. But I feel like we were kind of all put in our timeout chairs to say, all right,
Yeah.
you know, you got to recognize that you either buy into the fear, right, or you don't.
Right.
And don't take that the wrong way. I mean,
Right.
COVID is real, right? But how you choose to respond to what's being fed to you, how you respond to the news, how you respond to your friends and family who are trying to drive their opinions down your throat occasionally. You always get to choose, right? And that's, you can choose to be okay and safe.
Yeah. exactly. And that's kind of what it's this last month, I think December will be about too, is there's a lot of speaking truths can bring up a lot of opinions. So it's going to be a gentle time. Well, I say gentle because that's the goal. Because we're going to be with
Nate.
family. You're right. So just being with family can bring up a lot of fear for a lot of people because there's been many times where it ends up disrupted, right? So it's like, let's see if we can get along for just 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it may be, and long enough to respect each other, that we all have different opinions. We're all unique in who we are.
Yeah.
Because if we were all the same, how boring would that be, right?
Well, it's true, and I know that come 2022, we're intended to see people for who they are, not just who they are, but where they're at. You know, I've been teaching a program the last couple of weeks on that. You know, what's coming up for you in 2022, and we talk about that is understanding that everybody has a unique blueprint that we brought with us. No two are the same, right?
Exactly.
If you try to be like somebody else, one of us isn't necessary.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's accepting where you are, where you're at, at what point in evolution are you, being gentle on yourself, and the same with everybody else. And when you're looking at your parents that maybe they didn't live up to what your expectations were, but maybe the fact is that you had expectations, and that's what got you into trouble.
Right.
So hard to say.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Everything has its exact. Everyone is where they're supposed to be at this moment.
That's it.
We have the choice on how we want to move forward.
100%. Yeah. So that's it for the cards?
Oh, nope, I do have another one, don't I?
I thought you did.
I did. Okay, I know that I am the only one who determines what is and isn't right for me, and I have the final say. So
Ooh,
that's that one right there.
good one.
Yeah.
Look
I
at
like
that.
one. And
I am the final say. How powerful is
Right.
that?
Right. And I have one more.
Okay.
Which is change. And this says, don't scare yourself with the next 40 steps. All you need is that one next action. You can say to love, just show me the first step and change me into who can take it. Let me say that again. Just show me the first step and change me into one who can take it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, you know, if you think about it, we're all so concerned with making mistakes, not doing the right thing. And change has been, okay, we're leaving the change year, right? You said we're going into relationship year and partnership. So change, it's almost like we have this last chance. It's not saying you can never change things going forward, but you really having the support of the universe in your changes you want to make right now. So that's this card right here.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
Change. Yeah.
Nice.
I love that.
Nice.
So don't scare yourself with steps. And Sagittarius is all about taking action too. So another support for December. Take the action necessary. That's you need to get you where you need to be.
Awesome. Well, this sounds like a good close to the year.
Yeah.
So, and we'll have something prepared for January as well, for sure. But in the meantime, I wanted to remind everybody that we're having a live meet and greet on December 15th, where I've got Susan's going to be there, and myself, I'll be there. We've got Fiona Black, who is a specialist in the Akashic Records. She's a transformational coach. We're going to have Ree Smith, who you might remember did a lot of the readings with me. She's a master tarot reader and teacher. We've got Tira Whitford, who's a master empath, is going to be there as well. This is like an open house where you guys can come in and pick our brains for whatever you want, okay? So if you got a question about what's coming up or how you should handle something or whatever, you guys are welcome to come in. You got to join the Master Number 11 membership. You do not have to be a Master Number 11 for this event. You can simply step in. It's $11 to join the membership. You can check it out at my website at AnnPerryNumerologist.com. It's going to be November 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so we'll be on for about 2 hours, and everybody's going to have an opportunity to pick the brains of all the experts, right? So these are my superstars of 2022 who've been giving of their time in the Master Number 11 membership. So I hope that you will stop by, and Susan and I will have all kinds of great stuff to share with you then as well. So thanks, Susan. Great to see you again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and great to see you as well.
Hoping everybody's going to create their best month ever. Take care. Bye for now, guys.